but he is stopped by Doug Behrens, and what a great save. Brian Goodwin, he's not chopped liver. John Jay's Matt Cubetta has the breakaway, but his shot is deflected by Goodwin. John Jay up 3-1 at this point, and the puck in the corner. Kenny McCullough centers to Tom Orlando, who takes the close shot, but Goodwin is there. And then in the third, Stanley with the puck for Millbrook. Nice move through the legs, and he shoots and scores off the top bar to cut Jay's lead to 1. Not only can they score goals, but they can play. Millbrook again sets up the shot. Millbrook has a stalker on the team. Stanley behind the goal, hits John Stalker, lurking in front, blasts one past Behrens to tie the game at 3 as time expires. That's how this one ends in a 3-3 tie.
Still on the way here on Sports.
Travis Barton along the boards, passes to Andrew Cartwright, and he slaps it in. The Wizards take a quick 1-0 lead. John Jay comes right back. Mike Janos with the one-timer to Kevin Fitzpatrick, who's there all alone for the goal, and we're tied at 1. Still in the first, Washingtonville on the breakaway. Tom Mowbray with the nice pass to Cartwright. He slips it past Chris Halloran to make it 2-1. And hey, no souvenirs here. You got to give the puck back. Second period, Jay on the attack, and watch the shot by Kenny McCullough upstairs to tie the game at 2. That's the way this one would end, in a 2-all tie. To Saturday's action.
Would come out firing. Kevin Fitzpatrick on the breakaway goal. That's 5-hole, 1-0 Jay. Chris Grego now on the breakaway goal. 2-0 Jay. Kingston would quickly tie it. Then Fitzpatrick gets back into it. The wrister is good. Jay takes a 3-2 lead. Play gets a little physical now. Justin G. Michelli shoves Joey Travagante up against the boards and doesn't stop. More physical play. Mike Janos up against the boards with Mike Sarzi. Janos whacks him over the head. No penalty. This is hockey. Later on, Fitzpatrick again on the breakaway. Leaves it for Kenny McCullough. Goal 7-3 Jay. Jay again on the breakaway. This time it's Joe Orlando without Dawn. And he goes through the 5-hole to make it 8-3. Jay would go on to win it 9-3.
Ketchum come out firing. John Walters with the pass in front of the net. The puck finds its way through, and Mike Ditton pokes it in. Ketchum takes a commanding 4-1 lead. Jay makes a comeback. Jason Xenakis on the breakaway. Nifty moves, beats Woody Gotch. Top shelf, it is 4-2 Ketchum. With 14 seconds left in the second period, Kevin Fitzpatrick kicks it to Tom Van Winkle, who goes top shelf. It's now 4-3 Ketchum. Third period, RCK gets back on track. Justin Giamichelli from behind the net slips it by Chris Halloran for the goal. Ketchum by 2, 5-3. John Jay, Matt Cubetta on the breakaway, goes across the ice to Kenny McCullough, who rips it past Gotch. Jay down 1. Xenakis again. Wrist one to Gotch to tie the game at 5. Xenakis finished with 4 goals for the Patriots. Brian Whidden with the puck, falls down. Fitzpatrick picks up the loose puck and goes one-on-one with a pretty fake, beats Gotch, top shelf, and that's the score, 7-5. A wild one between Jay and Ketchum.
Switching from the
through the 5-hole, Jay strikes first. Second period, still 1-0 Jay. Here comes the Gypsies. Dan Johns rips one off the far post, game tied 1 apiece. Later, Jay down 2-1. Watch number 66, Jason Xenakis with the quick stick. John Jay goes on to win 3-2 the final. Was a good one. Second period, Jay in white up 2-1. John Vitale takes a shot on goal, gets slapped away by the Gypsies goalie, Nick Stetcher. Matt Cubetta gets a hold of it, puts it through the split of Stetcher, 3-1 Patriots. More Cubetta. He takes the puck from along the boards, charges the goal, goes upstairs, and it's 4-1 Pats. Lots of pushing and shoving in this one. In the third, Pats up 5-1. The Gypsies are coming back. Dan Brown digs it out of the corner to Darren Johns. He uses the screen to cut the lead to 5-2. The Gypsies weren't done. Jason Pedersen on the breakaway. Just 1 to beat. He flips it to Matt Boylan for the deflection. It's now 5-3. But this was John Jay's night. And Jason Xenakis. Xenakis cuts through the defense, goes virtually untouched, and puts the puck to the back of the net. John Jay wins the first game 7-3. Gypsies goalie Nick Stetcher had 20 saves, and the winning goalie, Chris Halloran, had 15. The second game, best of 3 series. It was bring your own mask day. We pick up the action in the second period. John Jay has a 1-0 lead off the faceoff in the Gypsy zone. It's that easy. Chris Grego picks up the loose puck, slaps it in. 2-0 Jay. Gypsies still in it. In the third, John Sienna gets it out by the blue line. A blast, a shot by Chris Halloran to put the Gypsies within 1. But Halloran was solid for Jay. Tim Petak blasts a shot from behind the center line. Halloran makes the great save, one of 13 on the night, and Jay wins the OCL championship 2-1 the final. End of the game gets a little raucous. Things get ugly and testy, a little bit out of control. Hey, somebody call security.
I mean, it was crazy. Anytime a good team like the Gypsies, they got a man advantage, and they're down in our end, they're throwing it around, and they were standing in front of me real good. I didn't see the puck. I was just trying to help. I was just trying to tell the guys, you know, I think the puck's behind me, and they're going around. They're trying to knock it away, and they're trying to give me a clue where it is, and I don't know. It was really scary.
It was a great game. We all just did our jobs, and we just came out top. They're a great team. It was a battle. It was a real war out there, and we played our game, and that's what helped us win.
I don't think there was really that much pressure on us. We already had one game up, so we had a game to lose. We played excellent the first two periods. They came on strong in the third period, but we were able to pull it out.
Pressure at the end of the game was harder for us because we weren't up as much. We had 2 goals going into the third period, and they scored on a lucky chance, I guess. And then we just put it down, hold the D, just kept dumping the puck and going after it, one guy deep.
You know, going into this game, we knew the Gypsies were going to come out even tougher than they did last night. Last night, we skated the way we wanted to skate and had pretty much our way. Tonight, we knew they'd be even tougher, and they sure were.
Congratulations to John Jay. We are going to run a
The face-off moves in front, pass the defender to the backhand top shelf. 2-0 in favor of the Patriots. More Jay now. Tom Van Winkle along the board. Stay with me here. Rocks the Cyclone defense to sleep, and then rips it over the shoulder of Carmel's goalie. Get it? Ripped by Van Winkle? Oh, forget it. 3-0 John Jay. More Jay offense. Mike Janet's off the boards. He goes top shelf as well. 4-0 Jay, and the fun didn't stop there. The puck ends up on the stick of Chris Grego in front here. There he is. Chris puts it far inside the far post. John Jay wins by the ever-popular score of 7-1. In other scores, Ketchum beat Highland 5-3 thanks to a hat trick from Brian Whitten. It's Ketchum's first win of the season. And over in the Orange County League, defending champ John Jay moved to 5-0 on the year with a 9-3 win over Washingtonville. The Patriots got a hat trick from sophomore Ken McCullough and a pair of goals from both Tom Van Winkle and Jason Zanakis. Ready?
Van Winkle punches.
Yeah.
Okay. Patriots are still pouring it on. Chris Shaw off the board, zings it inside the far post. It's now 7-0 Jay. Ketchum did get on the board finally as Brian Whitten keeps the puck in at the point, slides to the slot, and beats Steve Kaufman, and it's 7-1. Woohoo! More Ketchum because once is never enough as Jason Zanakis will lose the puck. It comes to David Roberts. He fires it past Kaufman, and now it's 7-2. But too much Patriot offense. Zanakis will steal the puck, and he's going to move in and get a chance to try to get a score, but he's going to be stopped. Kim McCullough's going to be there for the rebound. He's able to score to make it 8-2. Matt Kubeta comes shooting down the slot. He's going to get stopped too, but Zanakis is able to flip the puck in front. John Vital's going to wrist it home, and it's now 9-2 Jay. Now check out this play by Scott Kubeta. He's going to burst through 2 Ketchum defenders. I see the referee raising his hand for penalty. Gets his stick loose despite the guy holding on to it. Finds his brother Matt in front. He scores, and Jay goes on for the 11-2 victory. Kyle.
It was a potential milestone to a sizzling start at 15-0. Coach, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Kyle. How you doing?
Good. Not nearly as good as you are, I would think, with a 15-0 start. You got to be thrilled with how things are going.
Yeah, the kids are playing real well. They're concentrating, and they're playing the way they're supposed to play, and they're very disciplined right now. So.
Coming off last year, you won the Orange County League last year, so you knew you were going to be fairly successful coming into this year, but could you have known with this group of kids that out of the gate they would be this good?
For the last couple of years, we've been growing a bunch of kids down in the youth hockey, and we thought we were going to have a real strong team. We had a bunch of sophomores and a bunch of juniors that matured, and we even have a couple of freshmen from last year, and they've matured, and we were kind of hoping these next couple of years were going to be our best shot at winning in Mid-Hudson, especially, because we've never won there. So we thought we were going to have a good team, at least to compete with the best teams.
And one of the things in the Mid-Hudson League that I've noticed over the past year is if you have speed, you really can put a hurting on some people.
Yeah,
and I mean, that's what Millbrook has done over the past couple of years with Jamie Lane. And now you've got, I mean, some teams have 2 or 3 guys. You've got 6 or 7 guys who can fly all over the ice.
Yeah, we do have a bunch of skaters out there, and they move the puck very well, and that's what we concentrate on. We do a lot of cycling, and we try to move the puck and let everybody join in on the offense. And the best thing about them is they're very good defensively, and they know how to play the game. So they make my job very easily, and my coaches very easy. It works very easy.
One of the harder things in a league like this is that sometimes some of the teams don't have the numbers that others do, and you can wear people down. Your numbers might not be as big as Pauling or Millbrook or those teams, but your kids certainly be able to compete on a night-in, night-out basis because of that.
Definitely, and we have a strong JV team too. We've competed for the last 4 or 5 years, and we're always at the top, the first top 2 or 3 teams, and that's what we draw from. All the hockey helps, and again, it's the youth hockey. If the kids play youth hockey, Ketchum and Roosevelt and Millbrook and Pauling through the years have had the youth programs. We're finally, seeing the rewards of that.
How much of a hand do you have in that, and what you're going to draw from that? Can you push the youth hockey a little bit more?
Oh yeah, we really do. We go into the elementary schools. We get down. We recruit at the at the Pee Wee level and the mite level and the squirt level, just to not recruit, but we talk to the kids and we try to get them involved so they will hopefully want to play for John Jay, not want to just play youth hockey. And it helps that we have a nice program, good bunch of parents, and good group of kids.
What is the scheduling like for a team like yours? I mean, I know you play all weekend, you play Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, but they really don't get much gameplay between Sunday and Thursday. Is it nice to have the time to heal after banging for 3 straight nights?
Absolutely.
What's the practice schedule work out like in the league?
Practice schedule, we practice every Tuesday night for the last 10 years, and that's our main practice for varsity. And then we have a shared practice on Friday nights when we don't play on Friday nights with our JV squad. We have an hour-and-a-half slot. So if maybe 1.5 hours a week, if we're lucky, we get in there. And that's normal for the league. That's pretty standard. Only when you get into the prep schools or the better teams do you see that increase.
Ice time is always scarce for hockey teams and for skaters, for anybody who wants to get on the ice. It's always scarce, especially around here where there's really not very many places to go.
Right, that's true. Go ahead.
What's the key for this team to continue to stay successful? Obviously, you have your stars and Jason Zanakis and your 2 sons and
a bunch of Vitali and Janos.
I mean, you got a bunch of guys.
Yeah, we have a bunch of kids that I said can really play and skate, and we have a couple of big, strong guys in Joey Orlando and Chris Grego, and they do real well. But our defense with Vitali and Scott, my son, and Stephen Williams, they anchor our defense, and the younger kids like Matt Cubetter and Kenny McCullough and Jason, Mike Janos, they're all very good skaters, and the key for us is, truthfully, is to keep discipline and stay out of the penalty box. We've taken far too many penalties this year, and our kids know it. We're going to have a tough practice Tuesday because over this weekend we took way too many. And it hurts us because it cuts down on the ice time. It burdens the better players that penalty kill, even on the power plays too. It's tough. So we want to stay out of the box, and everybody can play because our 3 lines are very competitive. It's not like we have one good line.
Speaking of more penalties, you beat me to the spot I was going to. There's been a lot of talk this year in the league that the penalty calling has gone up and has slowed down the game somewhat. And I know that's been a bit of a controversy early on. Not so much a controversy, but more a concern in the lack of ice time because the games are running a little bit longer.
Right. I personally think that the referees this year are doing a very good job. They are calling more coincidental penalties and not just seeing the retaliation, because that's a lot of times what happens. They don't see the original penalty, and they call a retaliation. So that gets the coach going and the whole team going, and that's what the problem is. Now they're calling more of the coincidentals, and that'll stop the baloney. If they get them off the ice real quick for 2 minutes, then kids are going to know they're going to sit in the box. And personally, if I was a kid and I was out there and wanted to play, I'd want to be on the ice, not in the penalty box. They got to learn to keep their mouths closed too. That's the biggest problem with my team. They keep their mouth running.
And I'm sure a lot of this came out of what happened at the end of last year in both the Orange County League and the Mid-Hudson League. Both games, both seasons ended with a ridiculous fracas on the ice, and that's something that you would want to avoid as a coach as well as the players.
Absolutely. I have no tolerance for fighting. We have an additional game suspension for our own team when we get a fighting major in either league, so we penalize them an extra game. And you want to sit out 2 5 games, or 2 and then 3 games the next time. You're missing 5 games out of 34 games. That's your money that you're paying for, and it's silly. What, to punch somebody with a glove and a face mask? That's kind of silly. It makes no sense, right? But they're young kids, and they have tempers, and we try to keep them under control, and they're doing a very good job. They're trying. We don't have many scraps. It's just the ridiculous, silly penalties, the mouthing off penalties, which I think the referees are doing a good job of controlling that right now.
And we mentioned that your team is doing really well, but it's not like you're blowing everybody out. You had 2 1-goal wins over Arlington. Just assess where your team is at this point and what you're looking for in the next couple months.
Well, we think we're right in the middle of the pack in the Mid-Hudson. In Orange County, Arlington and Valley Central are the two toughest teams that we've faced so far, and I think they're pretty tough, and I think we're very competitive with them as we've proven. But in Mid-Hudson, you have Millbrook, Pauling, and Roosevelt, and then Arlington, I think, too. We have an unbelievable weekend. We play Millbrook Thursday, Arlington Friday, and Pauling on, and Roosevelt on Saturday. And that's going to be one tough weekend. That's going to see where we stand. I think we can compete with anyone. And
it's a real barometer for your team then, huh?
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. The kids are very, very good players. I think they can skate with anyone. Like you said before, that's the key, the skating.
Well, good luck to you, Coach. We'll be following you next weekend.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
We thank Gene Kubetta for joining us on tonight's show. That's our show for tonight. For Freddie Coleman, I'm Kyle Doty. We'll see you.
Together West Hudson Ice Hockey League. Undefeated John Jay took on defending league champion Millbrook for the first time this season. Who would prevail? Let's find out, shall we? And a good crowd on hand for Thursday night hockey at the Civic Center. Hi, nice to see you. Glad you're part of our broadcast. First period, John Jay buzzing around the net. Dan King will work the puck out in front, and Steve Williams is there to bang it home to make it 1-0 Jay in the first. Minutes later, Jay at it again. Check out the play by John Vitale. He pushes the puck past two defenders to Mike Janos. Janos gets the wraparound to beat Ryan Pierce. It's now 2-0 Patriots. We're still in the first period. More great moves as Scott Kubetta beats two defenders, finds his brother Matt, who waits, he shoots, he scores just inside the far post, and it's 3-0 Patriots after one period. In the second, Jay still in a dominating mode as on the power play. Janos gets the puck behind the net, centers for Tom Van Winkle, who doesn't snooze, and it's Jay taking a 4-0 lead. Millbrook wouldn't go quietly as their star Tom Shanley comes in the zone, converts a good low shot inside the post, and it's 4-1. Just over a minute later, Shanley again. He shoots just wide, goes for the rebound. It sits loose in front. Greg Spires nabs it and scores it, and it was 4-2 after two periods. Early in the third, Jay trying to nail things down. Matt Kubetta gets a shot on goal. Gets taken down, but the puck comes back to the point to Brian Teagle. He rips it past Ryan Pierce for a 5-2 lead. Jay would hang on for the 6-4 victory over Millbrook. Finally, back to the hoop side.
They defeating defending champion Millbrook 6-4 in the Mid-Hudson League. However, the very common letdown happened on Friday. John Jay lost for the first time this year by a final of 8-4 to Arlington. Jay tried to bounce back against Roosevelt back in the Mid-Hudson League on Saturday. John Jay wanted to avoid their second straight loss of the weekend, something that they definitely had not endured before. Roosevelt moving forward with speed. The puck slides loose in front. Tom Ignafo, the blast from point-blank range, but Joe Malte is there for the stop. Billy Steck also stood tall in the nets for the Presidents. Tom Van Winkle in on the breakaway from the blue line. He fires, but Steck is there with the blocker stop. Roosevelt led 1-0 after one period, but in the second, Steve Williams shot his trips to Joe Orlando, who was stopped by Steck, but John Jing finds the rebound and scores to tie the game up at 1. Jay with a 2-1 lead on a Jason Zanakis shot over to Matt Kubetta. That gets in, but doesn't. Bill Steck stops it at the goal line, stops the stuff. Jay celebrates, but sorry, no goal. More Jay now. Chris Grego fires over the blocker. Bill Steck, that goes in. John Jay takes a 2-1 lead heading to the third period. Jay then poured it on in the third period. Jason Zanakis circling behind the net. He comes out in front, fires it off the right leg of Bill Steck, and it's 3-1 in favor of Jay. Scott Kubetta then getting into the act. He circles off the boards. The backhander is stopped, but Zanakis is there, Johnny, on the spot, right in the spot. He makes it his second goal, makes it 4-1. Chris Grego would add one more as John Jay moves to 7-0 in the Mid-Hudson League with a 5-1 win over Roosevelt. Freddie.
In the early game on Saturday.
The game, Billy Steck makes one save on Kevin Fitzpatrick, but not two. And it's 1-0 Patriots just like that. 5 minutes later, the barrage really started. The puck is kept in at the line, looked like it might have been offside. Jason Zanakis steals it down low and scores, and it's 2-0. 1:24 later, it's that man, Kevin Fitzpatrick. Here he comes with a full head of steam into the zone, breaking on alone. Steck goes down, he goes around and scores 3-0 Jay. 31 seconds later, this is not a replay. It's Fitzpatrick again. Going top shelf, he smashes the cookie jar over Steck's shoulder. That's a hat trick. Fitzpatrick finished with 5 in the game. Billy Steck leaves, but 13 seconds later, more of the same. Matt Kubetta in on the breakaway. He scores, and it's 5-0 Jay. All downhill from there. John Jay wins 10-2. Catch him also in action.
John Jay took on Kingston, and they showed how mighty they are in a very big hurry. And Coryville knew he would face a barrage of shots. The young man just didn't know how quickly. Off the opening faceoff, John Jay and coach's son, Matt Kubetta, finds the puck, slips through two defenders, and goes up top for the score. Only 10 seconds in the game, it's 1-0 John Jay. Just 32 seconds later, Jason Zanakis moves down the boards, waits patiently, and slides it quietly past Beal. 2-0 Jay less than a minute in. A tad bit later, Steve Williams off the backboards to Mike Janos, out front to Tom Van Winkle. Bing, bing, bing. It's 3-0 Jay. 2 minutes later, you see there's a pattern here. Chris Gergo all alone on the boards. He walks in, a great shot up top. It's 4-0 John Jay, only a little more than 3 minutes in the game. Kingston pulled in 4-1, but Xenakis takes the puck away. The cross-ice pass to Kim McCullough. He scores, and John Jay wins it 12-3. Finally, the men of
Dominant is one way to describe the John Jay hockey team. Another way is champions. The Patriots clinched their first ever Mid-Hudson League title with a 13-0-3 record this season. Combine that with their 16-1 record in the Orange County League, and the Patriots are the team to beat in the playoffs.
It's just the most well-rounded team I've ever had. I'm not afraid to put anyone out there against any line in the league, and that's a real tribute to these players. They worked hard to get to this point.
I knew we were a strong team. I knew that we'd do pretty good. I didn't think we'd only lose one game. I figured there would be a lot of ups and downs, but this season there was a lot more ups.
The Patriots' only loss came on December 10th, 8-4 to Arlington. Other than that, the team has had very few lapses in their play. They rolled through the final 2 months of the season without a loss and maintained their focus on winning.
We've been pretty grounded. Mr. Cubetta's talked to us a lot and told us that we can still lose and we're not invincible out there. So we still work hard in practices every Tuesday, and we have a real good work ethic this year.
But the Patriots have a bye in the first round of the Mid-Hudson playoffs, so they have 2 weeks before they hit the ice again. If they stay focused, John Jay could be Orange County League champions for the 3rd straight year and Mid-Hudson League champions for the first time ever.
We know how to play 2 different styles. We can dump and chase the puck, or we can skate with, I think, any team in the league. And if they give us the skating room, we'll skate, and I'm pretty confident that we'll do what we're supposed to do.
And like every other sport, they came into the game shorthanded. They were missing 7 players and a coach. 4 players to suspension from the Pauling incident in the final regular season game, 1 player to injury, and 2 to other commitments. Not to mention the head coach, Gene Cubetta, was game night challenged because his team took 16 penalties against Pauling. The Patriots with 10 skaters, including backup goalie Steve Kaufman, but they got an early power play and they made it count. The puck slides loose to Matt Cubetta. He slides it across to Jason Xenakis. He buries it. It's 1-0 John Jay. Millbrook, though, answers 4 minutes later. Tom Shanley, as he always does, steps inside the blue line, blasts it. It's deflected on the way in, goes past Joe Malte. Game tied at 1. Early in the second period, still tied at 1. Matt Cubetta comes in, takes the pass from Jason Xenakis, fires it over the top of Ryan Pierce. It's 2-1 John Jay. Back come the Blazers. Adam Bracone moving down the boards, goes to the net. He scores, and we're tied up at 2 after 2 periods. Just 34 seconds into that 3rd period, though, Millbrook strikes again. Matt Zick on his backhand in a 2-on-1 slides it under Malte, and it's 3-2 Millbrook. John Jay, who didn't lose all year in the Mid-Hudson League, refusing to go away. Matt Cubetta, the nice move through 3 defenders, comes out in front, the wraparound finds its way into the net. We're tied at 3. Then with 5:30 remaining in the game, nifty play here. Chris Grego behind the back to Tom Van Winkle. Behind his back to Jason Xenakis. He scores. It's 4-3 John Jay. Final minute of play. Joe Malte saving the day off the faceoff. Tom Shanley, nada. Malte stones it. Then yet another faceoff. Adam Bracone this time comes out. The pass in front to Greg Spears, denied by Malte, and John Jay celebrates a hard-fought 4-3 victory.
Roosevelt and Pauling.
John Jay Millbrook series, John Jay had a much more complete lineup with 5 players back. The Patriots are ready to go after their 2nd trip to the Mid-Hudson League Finals ever. Millbrook's Jokers only scored in the first minute of play to stake the Blazers to a 1-zip lead, and they added to that 9 minutes in. The shot from the point by James Ricard is deflected, but comes right back to Greg Spears. The rebound backhand is in. Score 2-0 Millbrook. John Jay on the comeback trail. Early in the second period, the shot from John Vitale. Ryan Pierce makes the save, but it comes right back to Dan King, and he buries it. It's 2-1 Millbrook. More Jay, controversial play. Check out Jason Xenakis out of the penalty box. Doesn't touch up at the red line like he's supposed to, but he scores, and it still counts. The game is tied up at 2. It didn't faze the Blazers, though. Here comes Tom Shanley, works past the defense, and roofs it over Joe Malte. I'm getting kind of bored of saying his name. Takes a 3-2. Millbrook takes a 3-2 lead going to the 3rd. Wacky play 2 minutes into the 3rd. Brian Teagle's shot bounces off the backboards right to Tom Van Winkle. He beats Pierce 5-hole. We're tied up at 3. Late in the 3rd, John Stalker, the great outlet pass to Matt Zick. He's in on a breakaway. Joe Malte with the stick check. It's poked away, and we're going to overtime. In the OT, John Jay pressing. Ken McCullough all alone. No goal. Ryan Pierce stops him. Then it's Chris Grego. Guess what? He's all alone. No goal. Ryan Pierce makes another save. Moments later, though, Joe Orlando throwing the puck at the net. It's knocked away by Adam Bracone right to Grego, and this time he can't make a mistake. He scores. John Jay moves on to the finals, beating Millbrook 4-3 in overtime.
I knew Millbrook was coming on, and I knew they were a tough team and a great coach team. And they just have a good, solid team, and they moved the puck, and they got in our faces big time, and they cut down the lanes for us, so it was very difficult both nights. They played great, but we rose to the occasion, and we hung in there, and we fortunately eked it out.
Don't hate Tom.
Final regular season game, so the series had some promise. But John Jay erased that promise fairly quickly for Pauling in Game 1. And it's the playoffs, and we love big hits, like this one from Dan King. John Jay got on the board early and often. 9 minutes into the game, Jason Xenakis moves around one defender, goes to the goal line, and slides the puck through the legs of Travis Viertel, 1-0 Jay. Tom Van Winkle then moving into the zone, goes behind his back to Kevin Fitzpatrick. He rips a wrister past Viertel. It's 2-0 John Jay. More Jay, just because we like it. Into the second period, it's already 2-0, as I mentioned. The centering pass from Matt Kubeta to Jason Xenakis. The one-timer into the back of the net. It's 3-0 Patriots in the second. Here's how the game went for Travis Viertel. The shot from the point is stopped by Viertel, and then he gets his head sat on. Joe Orlando finds a way to put the puck in meanwhile. Then it was the Kevin Fitzpatrick show. Moving around, 2 defenders, brings it in. It's a 3-on-0. Back to Fitzpatrick, and he scores. This time, it's Tom Van Winkle's turn to get the puck to Fitzpatrick. In the third period, it's a water bottle popper. Watch it jump. Boing. Fitzpatrick added a 4th goal as John Jay took a 1-0 lead in the series with a 7-1 drubbing of Pauling. That led to Game 2, which Freddie will tell you about now.
And I promise you I won't get my headset on. In Game 2, Pauling was down to 2 players due to the suspension. Both Steve Reed and Mark Muller were suspended for Game 2 of the series following a scuffle in Game 1. Down 2 of their better players and facing a 1-0 deficit to John Jay, not a good situation. But Pauling persevered. 6.5 into the first period, Tigers on the power play. Phil Reddick gets the puck down low and scores past Joe Maltese to make it 1-0 Tigers. 1:27 later, the Patriots answer. Tom Van Winkle with the behind-the-back feed to Kevin Fitzpatrick. He rifles it past Viertel to tie it at 1. Same score, second period. Dan King steals the puck at center ice, chases it down the boards, goes to the net on the backhand side and beats Viertel. Jay's up 2-1. Pauling trying to tie it and trying his best they can. Tom O'Hara blocks the shot at the blue line, races the other way in the breakaway. He moves in, but Maltese slams the door. John Jay killed off a 2-man advantage early in the third period. More Fitzpatrick. He misses on the first shot, but the second time's a charm, and that's it. John Jay wins the whole shebang, a.k.a. the Mid-Hudson League title for the first time ever by a final of 3-1.
These kids deserve it. I thought next year would be our year. I'm very, very pleased that they played this well. Great group of kids, and great coaching staff with me, too.
We knew they were a strong team, and we came in confident. We knew that we could beat them. We knew if we just played the way we played, that we'd beat them. Came out strong.
Game Ketchum goalies made 80 saves, so they knew they'd be busy on Sunday night, but actually they weren't. And that's because Ketchum had no goalie. Woody Gotch was ill and Kevin Stocklinger had another engagement, so poor John Walters had to stand in there with minimal equipment and stop a frozen piece of rubber. I think you know how this story is going to go. John Jay scored 6 times in the first period. Scott Kubeta gets this one, and then Ken McCullough, getting into the act, takes the cross-ice pass and scores past poor Walters. Hey, and how about Walters doing a little bit of what he can do best? He makes a save.
Hey.
But guess what? He can't get the rebound. John Jay scores. Walters had a bit of a laugh about it. What else are you going to do? Needless to say, John Jay won. No score necessary. Freddie.
Man, Scott Kubeta going to be mad.
Game 1 of the semifinal series between Arlington and John Jay, the Patriots pulled out a 7-5 victory. In that game, the Patriots scored a goal in the first minute. They had to wait a little bit longer on Saturday night. The captains meeting at center ice. Hi guys. I said the Patriots had to wait longer, but not a whole lot longer. In the second minute of the game, their first shot by John Jay beats Sean Janisic. It's 1-0 Patriots. That was the score after one period, but in the second, John Jay got it going. Scott Kubeta skates in from center ice. I guess he's Scott. He can Scott in. Gets the loose puck, picks up the rebound and scores. 2-0 Jay. We need to work on the celebration, boys. Less than 2 minutes later, check out this pass. Kevin Fitzpatrick to Steve Williams. Oh, that's pretty. 3-0 Jay. 1:32 later. Nice play by Jesse Schenko at the blue line to get the stop. His shot is stopped, but Craig Baker roofs the rebound. 4-0 Patriots. Jason Xenakis has a pretty good set of hands. Here's proof. Dancing around Janisic, it's now 5-0 Jay in the second period. Arlington refused to be shut out, though, on the power play late in the second. Jason Bermudez to Trip Lewis. That's a goal. They pulled within 5-2. But in the third, more use of the hands by Xenakis. He scores again. Pretty move here. And then check it out. He dances like the gopher from Caddyshack. All right, the finals for the second straight year go to the John Jay Patriots with a 6-2 win over Arlington. Freddie.
The difference is he's a lot better looking than that gopher. That's another story. Moving to wrestling now in the Section 9 championship.
Poor John Jay roared back for a big victory.
Sunday, a bit different. Dean Cavetta rallying his troops before the game, and his goalie kept him in the game early. Rob Galuccio takes the pass to center ice for the breakaway, but Steve Kaufman flashes out the pad and makes a nice save, keeping the game scoreless. Didn't stay that way for long. 4:11 into the first, Steve Williams. Nice backhanded pass over to Ken McCullough. He finishes. It's 1-0 John Jay. And no, this next shot is not a replay. Ken McCullough said, please, did you put my second goal on? Yes, yes, yes.
He begged?
Yes, he did. Pass from Jason Zanakis to a diving McCullough. 2-0 John Jay. Great goal. And the fun was just getting started for the Patriots. For Patriots, Chris Parsmore swoops in behind the net. Slowly and gradually moves behind. Centers to Rich Corbo, and he taps it in between the legs of Kaiser, who did make 24 saves, but that wasn't one of them. 3-0 John Jay. 4-0 after one period. John Jay adding to it in the second, clearing attempt stopped by Alexei Merlanin. He flips it netward and it skips past Kaiser, make it 5-0. Kaufman, meanwhile, being staunch in the net. Sean Barrett in the slot, wrister denied. Comes out to Steve Galuccio, and he's denied as well. Kaufman made 14 saves in 2 periods of work. And John Jay on a power play. Steve Williams, pretty inside-outside move. He stopped, but Sean King is not. He bears the rebound. John Jay goes on to win it big, 12-2 over FDR. Fred.
The Admirals were forced to play without one of their best players, Jason Bermudez, who was out with a broken foot. Not an easy task for Arlington. Patriots and Admirals get loose before game 1 of their best-of-3 series. First period, just a couple minutes in, Mike Slakta sends the puck behind the net, gets it back from Tom Gizzo, walks out in front, scores past Steve Kaufman, 1-0 Arlington. Just 12 seconds later, here come the Patriots. Jason Zanakis splitting 3 defenders at center, dekes John Mantieri into the backhand and scores. Gets taken down, but the puck went in before the net came off. We're tied at 1. Later in the first, John Jay on the power play. The shot by John Ging is stopped by Mantieri. Ken McCullough, though, buries the rebound. John Jay up 2-1. It stayed that way until the third when Slakta comes calling again. On the power play, the league's leading scorer left all alone. He walks in front and stuffs it home. The game is tied at 2. Just 9 seconds later, be you a Capulet or a Montague, you gotta love this goal. John Romeo rips it from the point past Mantieri. John Jay has the lead back at 3-2. Late in the third, Arlington trying to tie it. Kaufman makes a couple of saves. Coming up, wide open on the post is Sean Calcuni, but he bangs off the post. Jason Zanakis makes him pay. John Jay holds on to win game 1, 3-2 over Arlington. Then on Sunday in game 2, John Jay clinched their 3rd straight championship in an epic game 2. John Jay led 3-2 heading